Hi, this is my first video, so I thought I'd at least make an attempt to make a first video, otherwise it's hard to start. Um, this is John. I am going to be your lovely comedian or host for this YouTube channel. So how do you really feel about it? Which is what people usually ask me when I decide to share my opinion with them, is how do you really feel about it? Because I don't hold back. Um, so for my first video was a topic that bugs the irritating living shit out of me. If shit could live, that's what happens. Is parenting nowadays. I grew up in a very strict, not really strict, but very well set up home with morals and values, and I think that's why I turned out so messed up and I had blue hair and tattoos and piercings. But as much as I had the freedom to be who I am and the freedom to express myself, people don't realize exactly how I was raised. I was raised in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It actually was a little town north of it, which is Monument, Colorado. It was an overgrown truck stop with a higher population. If you blink, you miss it driving by. But I was the I didn't have a lot of a wiggle room. It was very strict. I was, yes ma'am, yes sir, please, thank you, yes please. Um, I didn't get away with shit. uh, Punishment, I was caned. If we went out in public, I was stuck at my mom's right-hand side. Um, and the day I chose to push that limit, I was put on a leash. One of those kid leashes, and it wasn't one of the cute ones that look like a backpack or like some animal hugging your child. It was literally like a leash. It wasn't on a collar, it was on a harness. But I didn't get away with shit. And I'm going out, and I was eating at Panda Express the other day, and there was two Latino, Mexican, I don't know what the proper term is anymore, families. It's right before closing, and they're, what, thousand, whatever, 14 kids combined for the two families, were playing tag inside Panda Express. And if I did that, my ass would have been handed to me on a chopstick. These are kind of things that I look at and go, what? I mean, I have friends who are teachers from anywhere from 2nd grade to about 9th or 10th grade, and they're telling me that parents are expecting the teacher, and they tell the teacher, I expected you to raise my child. And it really just baffles me and completely blows me away on where people get off, or apparently where they drop their kids off on this train. Because I don't know, I seem to, I don't want to be judging, but I think people have stopped disciplining their kids. If you look at the whole, you can't spank your child. I was spanked. We actually used what we called the rod. It was a wooden dowel rod. It was broke over my ass a few times. Which explains a lot about me. But I learned there are ways to behave in public, and there are ways not. And a lot of that's also for the enjoyment of everyone around you, so people don't have to listen to your kid whine and bitch and whine and bitch and be completely irritating. But parenting today, where has it gone? What are we doing wrong? What aren't we doing at all? Of course, I have to also throw out there, I have no room to bitch. I'm not a parent. I deal very little with little kids, because if I did, honestly, I'd probably choke them. I don't have any tolerance for irritating little kids that people choose not to discipline, and they want society to discipline them. But in the same way, looking back on the way I was raised, I didn't get away with shit. And with some of these parents, I just feel like they wake up and realize that kids won't discipline themselves. Schools aren't going to discipline your kid. The only one who's willing to discipline your kid is yourself. And it irritates me to no end to go out in public and have kids screaming, running around stores, playing tag in fast food restaurants. Even it goes down to the bullying you see today in schools. You have kids making fun of each other and hurting each other for the stupidest reasons. Yeah, if they're not going out and physically hurting each other, but mental pain, can be a lot more painful than, the physical type. And I think it's all going down to parenting, and really having to go, what in God's name, or whoever, when did we decide to stop? I don't think it's the kids' fault. Kids don't know better, but I do think as parents we need to, we as I have not been a parent to anything so far. It would probably sign the apocalypse if I was a parent, but I don't know. It's my pet peeve that I thought I'd start my rants out with, is parenting. We've all been to the mall, we've all been to the grocery store, we've all been to that fast food restaurant or sit-down restaurant where there's that, toddler or that like 5-year-old who thinks it's funny to throw food or funny to be running around and screaming. This is not outside, this is not playtime, this is sit down and eat time. And if I'm not at a Chuck E. Cheese, I don't expect to see kids running around. I wouldn't. That would never been allowed for me. And as an adult, it's completely irritating to have kids running around, screaming, playing tag, knocking shit over, running into you when you are trying to sit down and have a nice meal. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, being my blog and all that, but parenting. What are your thoughts? What are your pet peeves? What completely bugs the living shit out of you? How were you raised? Would you have gotten away with this shit? Let me know. Respond to my comments, and I'll try to address some things at a later point. But that's how I really feel.